¿Qué tal? Buenas tardes a todos. Perdón que ha habido un problema técnico. Espero que ahora ya podamos conectarnos. Continuamos con las sesiones del mes de agosto que está dedicado a la mujer. Y en esta ocasión vamos a entrevistar a las gemelas Nungshi y Tashi de la India, que son unas grandes aventureras y valientes que han hecho muchísimos retos en el mundo. Y uno de ellos es haber participado en la Eco Challenge y haber finalizado la Eco Challenge de Fiji. La entrevista va a ser en inglés. ¿Qué tal, Andrés? Bienvenido, muchas gracias. La entrevista será en inglés, pero vale la pena escucharlas. La verdad que tuve el privilegio de conocerlas el año pasado en Fiji y aparte de ser unas grandes personas y seres humanos, son increíblemente... con una historia muy, muy increíble. Así que nada, vamos a ver si se conectan. Espero que estéis todos bien. También una pena que esta vez hemos tenido que cambiar los horarios. Pedimos... Aquí están. Hello, Tashi, Nungshi. How are you? I'm just explaining that we are going to do the interview in English. So it is a pleasure to have you here. Let's see. I'm just joining them.
Hola.
Hey.
Hi, Arancha.
Hey, how are you?
We're good. Very excited to see you. It's been so long.
Yeah, I'm so happy to see you, and I really appreciate your time and your efforts for being here with us.
We're absolutely honored, and thank you so much for getting us onto your live chat. We're super excited.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Some
you.
double trouble. Double trouble.
Yeah. Are you in India right now, in your home?
Yes, we are in India. Actually, we've been home since the pandemic started.
Okay.
So, yeah, we haven't been going out, you know. Better be safe than sorry.
Okay.
And really look after ourselves.
Yeah, of course, of course. How about the situation? Are you allowed to travel or not yet? No, yet.
No, like across India, the national ban has been lifted, so people can travel between states.
Okay.
But the two of us have consciously decided not to go anywhere. I mean, we are home with our grandmother, 2 dogs, and 10 chickens. So at least we have something to do. But nonetheless, we crave the outdoors, and I'm so glad we actually got to see the Eco Challenge at such a time. So uplifting.
Of course. Well, first of all, congratulations for the Eco Challenge. We will talk about Eco Challenge.
Yes.
But first, I would love to talk a little bit about your origins. Where do you come from? Because your background is so strong in adventure races, but it's super strong in many other challenges. And just love if you can explain a little bit your history.
Okay, so Arancha, the two of us, we come from the northern part of India, a place called Dehradun. Our mom is a half Gurkha, and our dad is a Jat. He's from one of the villages in northern India. And so his profession is basically military. So he was in the army for 25 years, which is why the two of us were very nomadic, traveling from one place to the other, constantly shifting, moving places. And we actually changed like 10 schools by the time we finished our 12th grade. So, you know, that kind of also allowed us to see a lot of India. And I think we feel blessed that our dad was also very courageous in allowing us to go with him in far-flung operations. And he kind of kept us close within the family, unlike, you know, most people who decide to be in a stationary place. But I think growing up, we did not have so much time with our father because he was in the military. So, you know, he used to go on these missions, far off places. So we never really got to spend that much time with our dad. And I do remember times when we used to call him our uncle because we barely saw him home. So yeah, growing up, he barely like spent time with us. And luckily, we were two of us together in the family, so we always had company. But growing up in India, it's kind of beautiful because you have these diverse group from all around the city, and like just to experience that was like wow. You know, we were pretty grateful to have seen pretty much the entire country.
Yeah. How did you realize that you were good in sports? How did you start your life in sports?
The two of us used to always be attracted to games. And if there was somebody who threw a ball at us, we would immediately want to play with that human. And much of our life, and you would also agree that initially a lot of kids used to spend time outdoors. Yeah. And our parents used to actually, give calls to keep coming home. And our mom used to be very angry. She's like, the two of you, and because we were best friends, well, we always had somebody or the other to play different sports and games with. So when we joined school, high school, and throughout our school years, we played a lot of sports. We played hockey, we played badminton, except cricket and soccer, which I think a lot of people expect. We played all sports, and we even played junior nationals in hockey. We represented our schools in inter-school challenges. So that was like an interest to us from the very beginning, and we were also very disciplined because of our dad. And sports is one of those things that you need discipline in. In athletics too, the two of us were like very good in 100 meters, 200 meters, short, but we did everything.
And I think that competition, that silent competition that we had, it was almost like proving one another that I'm better. So it led us to eventually like compete with one another in sports, and we're like, this is fun. Like at least some ground that you're confident in, overtaking somebody.
So it was an early love affair with sports, definitely, in our family.
And who is better in which? How is the competition? Okay.
You can at least be honest for once.
But the beauty is, Arancha, that, the beauty of us being twins is that, let's say if she jumped off from a 5-meter board in the swimming pool, I would jump immediately. Like there was no question, there was no doubt. So if somebody did something before one another, it was almost like I can do this too because my sister just did it. So there was always this confidence, like we can,
So now you know, right? If you want us to do something, just make one of us do it. The other one will do it automatically.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
But I've got more gold medals, so I'm a better sports person.
She's gonna fight with me. I will fight with you.
That's great. What has been your main achievements?
Main achievements.
Well, honestly speaking, the two of us, we are mountaineers. That's our passion. That's our interest. So in 2013, we actually became the world's first female twins to climb Everest at the age of 21. Which the Guinness World of Records actually recognized it. So it was a pretty hype about us climbing Everest. But then later, because we were inspired by climbing mountains, we ended up doing the 7 summits, like the 7 highest peaks in every continent. And in that pursuit, we realized that we were the only twins and siblings to have done it. So it was almost like, wow, like this is new, like this is interesting because it's a path that you undertook in order to find our own selves. And there we were standing on these high summits of a mountain. On top of that, having to then ski to the North and South Pole. Man, that was like the craziest adventure. And we did this at the age of 23. So it was like very within 2 years and a month, we had done the Explorers Grand Slam. Then we became the only Indians to have done it. So it was kind of nice to represent our own country on these big platforms, which a lot of us had never dreamt of. So it was kind of really nice. And given our context in India, the ecosystem is such that such sports is never viewed as a girl's activity. And somebody, taking it up is looked down upon. So for us, it was also like, making mountaineering a very recognized sport so that people appreciate the sport more. So for us, it was more about, talking about what we do, and especially for girls to, kind of draw inspiration from people who achieve. And that kind of like became such a great journey for us to kind of not only overcome our fears, our mountains, but also to inspire other girls to do the same. So it was for us, that was a bigger achievement. I mean, the kind of response we got from the girls across India saying that they feel proud and extremely happy at what we were able to accomplish at such an age was truly humbling. And that journey has been so special.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. So I know that you are an inspiration in India, especially for women and for young people. But who inspires you? Who are your idols?
Our idols. Oh. I think when it comes to like mountaineering, if you're referring to mountaineering, then we have a few climbers that we take inspiration from. But in terms of life and living, it is definitely our dad. I mean, he not only initiated us into mountaineering, but he also
followed regular mentoring and thorough preparation for our 7 summits, and he kind of became like a third sister. So this journey also helped us, kind of spend quality time with our dad, which we had lacked with him being in the military. And unlike other parents who are kind of like, forcing their kids to become something or sharing their goals with their kids, our dad was like, sharing life's vision. And he became such an important part of that journey. So it's definitely our dad, hands down. We never tell him that enough. He thinks we are never inspired by him, but he's the guy who truly inspires us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's retired right now, right? From military.
Very retired. And he's getting old.
No, he's not getting old. I mean, he accompanies us when we are like doing some fitness workout or when we're doing something. He always wants to be a part of it. So it shows that, age is just a number, and, dad is always trying to do things as if he's an 18-year-old boy and, still keep that energy, which is why I think it's nice to have him as a best friend, as a dad, as a coach, as a mentor.
Yeah.
He's just amazing. He's a ball of like, I don't know, he's a different
But we
human
must
being.
not forget our mom. She always complains about the two of us only talking about dad and never ever mentioning her. But she's also been a solid support.
Definitely.
And she also has inspired us to live our life the way we need. So hats off to all the mothers around the world who kind of enable their daughter's dream. For us, our mother is also a super inspiring influence.
Especially because some are very risky. And seeing your parents supporting you, that's amazing. Yeah.
I won't say supporting though. Mom is always worried.
Yeah.
She's always like, you girls do these adventures. I don't like you girls. You're so scary. I feel scared when I see you climb. So she's always crying. And if it hadn't been for her to say yes on our Everest climb, I don't think we would have done that climb. She was very like, no, you girls can't take that risk. And moms are always going to be moms there. Like, they're so worried.
That's her role. That's it. It's part of it. So, how did you know about Eco Challenge? What did you know about adventure races? Because Eco Challenge was your first adventure races, right?
Yes.
Our very first adventure racing, without doubt. And we can say that with confidence.
Arancha, you'll be surprised, we never heard of adventure racing before we heard about Eco Challenge. We didn't even know such a thing existed.
Exactly.
And to kind of see how, like, even within Eco Challenge, within the adventure race community, there's such a range of disciplines. We kind of felt like a minuscule part of the whole adventure fraternity. And for us, Eco Challenge, when we heard it for the first time by some of the people who were, the participants who were applying for it, who also had heard our story, and they felt that Team India would be the first to participate. And we got this like personal invite. Truly, for us, we were like, we jumped at the opportunity without really realizing what adventure racing was. Zero knowledge. Absolute, like, no clue about what adventure racing was.
I think, because, when you hear the word adventure, it has different meanings for different people, So when we thought of like an adventure race, we thought of a different perspective. So we absolutely said yes to it without, like my sister said, we didn't know what it's going to entail. And later, when we actually did a bit of study, like we looked online and we're like, oh my gosh, did we just sign a death certificate? Like, like it was like all those things that we're scared of, like water.
Did you share?
Sailing.
Did you send the application before noticing your father or not?
Yes. Before noticing him, and then notifying him. And then what happened was, Tashi and I felt it was about time we tell dad and mom about what we've just signed up for, because the first response we got from them was, with the paper, right? There were quite a few things that were scary. For instance, what we could possibly be encountering in Fiji, and they even mentioned sharks and stuff like that. Like there's a potential of, and I was like, no, I gotta let parents know about this.
And that's when we knew that this is a serious thing. Like, we may have signed up for it, but it's no joke, because then we are looking at disciplines that we had never done in our life, except for climbing mountains and, possibly just doing 1 or 2 trips of rafting as a tourist activity. Like, there was nothing that we were serious about any other disciplines before. So, honestly, entering it, I think the fact that we said yes to a challenge like that itself was like a biggest, biggest yes of our lives, like seriously. And then, of course, we did a lot of study, research, and that's how we got involved with Eco Challenge. But before that, trust me, like, we're just so grateful that we got this opportunity
Yeah.
to experience what adventure racing is. And I wish
It's
like the
huge, yeah.
next generation to come get that opportunity early on, because it's a great thing. Like you discover so much from that whole experience. So yeah, it was quite an eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe because you didn't investigate before what was an adventure races, that's what makes you to apply. If you had already investigated,
Yeah.
apply for that. So
You're right, especially like it's similar to like our mountaineering, like our mountaineering exploits.
Yeah.
Initially, if we had done all the research about how dangerous these places are,
Yeah.
we would have probably backed out. But we realized the less we knew about these things,
Yeah.
and the more we went with an open mind and open heart, it was easier to embark on a crazy adventure or an expedition, as opposed to being freaked out even before we got to the point. So I don't even think we never looked at any eco challenge races before, like as in never went through a video, and we went to Fiji thinking, you know what, even if this is imminent failure, we'll see what it has in store for us. We'll just see what this entails.
Because the first time you really can't judge anything, you can't judge a book by its cover, like they say. So we didn't want to judge Eco Challenge. We just wanted to go and experience firsthand what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's the spirit of us, just like actually experiencing what adventure racing is all
And
about.
at least I knew I had my sister with me, so I was like, we both are going to go through the same pain and gain. So it was easier.
Oh, geez, yes.
How was the process? Since the moment you apply, you are accepted, you share this project with your dad, how you build the team, the other two members, and how
So obviously, like this was the first time we were bringing out a team from India, so we had the opportunity to select a team. And in the beginning, I think there was a lot of brainstorming going on, because we had no idea what kind of a team would you actually want for Eco Challenge. Like, what does it take to create a team, and what are the strengths, what are the weakness.
Yeah.
However, we did know that a better team is a team with diverse skills. Like somebody who's not just good with one sport, but is multi good with different sports. And I remember this time, like that's what we were looking for, somebody who's good with water rafting or like sailing and paddleboarding and all of that. So looking at that whole, scenario, initially we were thinking about our climbing friends, because that's our arena. And we knew that some of the mountaineers would have sort of jumped headlong and, would have been wanting to be a part of Team India. But our dad's caution was that you need somebody to be good with different disciplines, and that's going to act as your strength,
Yeah.
So funny enough, like just to introduce our two other team members, Praveen happens to be a mountain boy. Like he's a local boy from our own state in India.
Okay.
And we had climbed with him in the Indian Himalayas once, I think 2013.
Yeah, that was long back.
That was
yeah.
long back. But one thing we knew about each other was that he was vivacious. Like, he had a great sense of humor. So we knew, like, even though we are going on a dangerous mission like this, you need somebody who could like make you laugh, or like, pep the team up, because our father actually read about it, and, he said that when you go on such mission, if you have somebody who can make you laugh, it's like the ultimate, and that's how we came about Praveen on the team. Then we were kind of worried, because when we were looking at the preparation for Eco, there were certain things that we had to get for the race, like in terms of equipments and gears. And honestly, I think 50 to 60% of what was written, we wouldn't have found it in India at all. Like, no matter where we went. And I think it would have been way too expensive, like just to get it to India and then ship it to Fiji. So we also had a very good friend, like Brandon actually was our fourth member in the team.
Yeah, we met in 2014, yeah, on Denali in North America. And that was, a chance encounter with him and his team.
Yeah.
And we shared some good moments on the mountain when a storm had hit the mountain. So we built some good friendships along the way, and he happened to be a great soul to kind of embark on this journey with. So we invited him for this team to become a member, and he said an instant yes. And it was like, bravo, bingo.
And I think being from Utah, he was already exposed to a lot of adventure activities. Like he would go biking, he would go, paddleboarding. So he was good with those disciplines. And
he
so
was an all-rounder.
He was an all-rounder. So we knew like he's going to be a good teammate, like at least.
Yeah.
So there was a security in that.
Adventure race for him as well?
First, for all four of us, actually.
For all four of us.
We had never competed in adventure racing before. And all four of us met for the first time 2 days before the Eco race start. So that was a big risk we were taking.
Yeah, like we had trained with Praveen in India, but like Brandon was in the US, and so we could not like have like team, trainings together, which was kind of bummer. But we knew we were doing our best to like compete, and leaving nothing to chance. So we like, Brandon, are you doing this, and it was almost like as a team we were discussing what we are doing, what we're
Yeah.
working on. So yeah, it was quite an experience.
In the navigation in the team.
So, I think so. When you look at navigation, I think with navigation, I think it's I was yeah.
I think it was all four of us chipping in. In fact, when we got the I don't know if a lot of people have watched Eco Challenge, but the race start we were provided with maps,
Yeah.
and the maps, some of them were as huge as like 3 feet.
Yeah.
I was like, are you kidding? We're gonna like read the whole thing, and it's a hydrographic navigation we're looking at. So terrible at it. But we were just making like random guesses and somehow being guided by a spiritual or something of a bigger force throughout our expedition. But the navigation was our weakest point.
That's the thing we worked out as a team. Like Nash and I, we did some navigation practice back home. Like we actually ended up, attending these training sessions with the army here because Dad had contacts. And there was no other place we could go and train. So Dad provided us like a week of navigation.
Yeah.
But with navigation, we've seen is that the more you do it, the more practice you have, the better you get at it. It's simple. Like it's not something that you open a map and you're like, okay, I know that this is going to be right. Like you need years of experience to be able to navigate through anything, like whether it's the wilderness or even doing the hydrographic navigation. That was like next level. Like we were so bummed, like with all these things coming our way, it was like, damn, like, this is not our skill set. But
Yeah.
at the same time, the kind of training we already had, that sort of helped us through. And it was a learning process for us. We were making mistakes and then we were learning from it. And then we were taking the right path. And, having other teams around us obviously helped too. Like, we were seeing what other teams are also doing. So it was a comfortable situation.
Of course, yeah. I was surprised when I saw you in a couple of PCs that the four of you with the light seeing the maps, and I said, "Wow, all of them navigate are good in navigation." I said to myself,
Brilliant navigators in our team. It all worked in our favor without putting much brain to it. So maybe sometimes you have to go like a rookie to make the most of your moment. And at times, actually, we had teams tell us that Team India, you're so good with navigation. We're like, oh, really? Like, we just made a guess, and that guess happened to be correct. So we're like, voila.
Very interesting.
Oh my God, it was hilarious though. Like we've laughed. Actually, our navigation was really bad, and that's one thing we've been focusing on even after Eco Challenge. Like we are building on it, so that's something we've taken away from Eco Challenge. Like be good at navigation.
How often do you need a map and compass to go somewhere, right? Google Maps and everything is there.
And no GPS. So yeah, welcome to the real world, right? It's exhausting.
what was the most funny momentum or beautiful momentum of the race for you, in which you said, "Hey, I don't want to forget this moment. Maybe this sunset, maybe this achievement, whatever."
I mean, looking at Fiji, it's a beautiful terrain. Like, Fiji as a country is so beautiful. So all these like activities that we were doing during the race, I think it was beautiful. At the same time, it was nerve-wracking. You know what I mean? Like we were struggling through everything, but at the same time, like you said, the waters, we were so calm. Or like just looking at the moonlight was like special, and the hospitality of like the Fijian locals, because being in a new country, we didn't expect that sort of a love affair with the Fijians, but instantly, like the locals, the way they welcomed us as if we were in their homeland, and I think that's something we'll never forget, because it becomes a part of your process. And I remember times when we would like be invited by these Fijians who had very little to share, but then they had so much to share. You know what I mean? And that to us was very touching. So I feel like the landscapes of Fiji are beautiful, and that's something
for me, Arancha, looking back, one thing that really stood out for me personally was accidentally biking into a school in Fiji during one of the checkpoints on route. And suddenly we are huddling with school kids in a school, just like overwhelmed with their praises and cheering and bula greetings. I mean, for me, I will never ever forget that moment.
Those screams.
Yeah, the moment we left the school and how they bid us goodbye, and you know that you're meeting these people for the first time and maybe your last time. So you want to capture those smiles and emotions and tears and joy. And for me, that was the most special moment during the eco race. The kids, I'm so fond of kids. I love kids.
I think that they will never forget those days when they met so many cultures different from them and
Right.
exchange the energy. And what was your first momentum of the race? Did you have many momentums in which you said, hey, maybe we should abandon and just retire, we can over?
Oh, so many.
Oh my God. We started Eco Challenge with our worst discipline, which is sailing. Because like I said, we had never sailed. It was the first time we were all learning how to paddle in the ocean. So it was obviously hilarious because we all felt like we were all doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the beginning, I think that was our worst fear. Like after paddling and getting to that ocean leg, we were looking at the map and we're like, wow, like we have a long way to go. And as a team, it was kind of like very interesting to see the dynamics for the first time because, you know, we all were getting tired. There were moments when I would like stop to like apply sunscreen and try to hydrate. And my sister would be like, Tashi, you're taking way too much time. Like you need to hurry because we are struggling with the paddle. And I'm like, okay, maybe just 2 minutes. And then, so everybody wanted 2 minutes, like to be fair. But in Eco Challenge, I think nothing came easy. Like, you know, we would get to one checkpoint and then we felt like the next checkpoint will be easy. And then we go to the next checkpoint and then it's just getting worse. Like it's just getting like too tiring, too exhausting. So it was a moment in time when we realized that this is the reason why it's called the world's toughest race, is because there's no moment of ease. And there were moments where we actually felt like giving up. Like, you know, there were many sections. But the one time I think that we really felt like giving up was that swimming section, that 8-kilometer swim. Firstly, because we won't say we don't know swimming. Like we know how to swim, but we're not good swimmers. And that's the difference. And I remember this time, it actually took me back to an incident that happened in America when we were studying there a long time back, 2009, when, you know, we were doing a program in America and some of our friends decided to go to the lake to swim. Yeah. So my sister and I thought we are good with swimming because, you know, we used to swim with our dad, but didn't realize that we were not good swimmers. Like we didn't know. I mean, swimming in a swimming pool versus swimming in a lake or an ocean is different. And, you know, the waves act differently, you know, the pressure systems act differently. So for the first time, we started to swim with the friends and suddenly like we lost breath and I started to drown and I literally had to scream. In that moment, literally. So the two of us were like panicky in that lake and then we had friends who literally just swam across to help us out. So remembering that moment, like we are petrified with water, you know, we're like, no matter how good you are, nature and water especially is something that you don't have control over. And if you get tired and you don't have anybody to help you out from that situation, it just, no matter how much you tell yourself, do not panic, you will panic because you're human beings and those emotions come naturally. So that broke us. We're like, oh my gosh, first of all, we have weight on a backpack. And then now we have to swim this water, which is cold. I think more than the cold, it was about the fear of the water, just being swimming and feeling like there's nobody to help around and drowning. And, you know, all those memories started coming back. So, yeah, I mean, hats off. Like, you know, I don't know how we did it, but it was a miracle for us. Like, really a miracle. Like, we actually did it. I can't believe it.
How long that pool swim part?
It was about 8 kilometers, and this is after the waterfall section. So we were all exhausted, barely had any strength. It was evening, so you know the sun had gone down. It was cold. We were very cold, and I could see Brandon and Praveen, you know, the other two mates, like almost having goosebumps. And I was like, "Are they hypothermic? Do you think this is the end of the race?" So I think the water sections have always been a bummer to the two of us, and we were kind of frustrated as well, you know, because we were going through sections. So it was not like 8 kilometers straight. It was like get inside the water, come out, and then do bushwhacking for a while, and then get into the water. So we had to keep up with the pace, because we knew we had to get to the next checkpoint as soon as possible. So there was a pressure of time, and then there was this pressure that you need to, I mean, we were just getting bruised black and blue, and we were like, it doesn't matter, like we have to get through this no matter what. So it was a very frustrating moment for us, and it was like, oh, Praveen, come fast, you know, Brandon, come fast, like Tashi, Nungshi, like it was just like, whoa, it was like chaotic, very chaotic.
Absolutely. I also had the chance to share with your father in a few camps, and he was suffering so much. Like if he was doing the race, honestly, people doesn't realize how much is the psychology efforts that the assistants are doing, because and you are running and you are in the middle of the race, but the people are many hours and they don't have any information about you. They don't know what's going on, and that's a lack of information is what make the crew very worried.
Nervous, yeah.
Very,
Yeah, we didn't know what he was going through until we saw Eco Challenge. And I mean, I saw the stress levels in Dad's face. And it was not the easiest thing to watch, because I know for him, I mean, as a dad, the biggest concern was, here are my daughters who have never embarked on such a crazy adventure. He's never seen us perform on the mountain. So he never really knew, how strong we are and how much can we endure. And so for him, his constant stress was, if something happens to them, God forbid, they're not the ones who will like easily quit. Like the two of us struggle with, just giving up at the moment. And so he was scared that even if you're going through some, like crazy brutality during the course, we will not say a word. And he was afraid of that part, like how honest we are to like what we are feeling during the race. And I feel sad for him that we put him
And it was the first time he was actually participating as a tag himself. More than team assistant crew, we called him the tension adding crew, because
he was really the tension adding crew.
There were times when he would do things and be like, why did Dad do this? Like, he didn't do this right, because we were already struggling. Like, I remember this first camp we had to make it to, and he took out both the bike tires, like not realizing that this would have an impact on the race. So yeah, I mean, for him also, this was a learning, and I'm sure like the next time if he ever competes as a tag, he would definitely be more careful and more, understanding.
And probably by then he would have learned how to cook. He is a terrible cook. He doesn't, what was he feeding us? Eggs and bananas?
Eggs and bananas, and that's it. Like, oh, thanks, Dad.
Yeah, he was the only one who had so many fresh fruit waiting for you. Very nice cat, and really he did a very good presentation, but fruit. That's
only good presentation.
Yeah.
But when it came to like actual nutrition, zero, Dad. He was a terrible cook. Nothing.
Great.
He needs to do a lot.
What are the strengths of each member of your team? What was the strength?
Strength of each.
Okay, so for me, what I saw as a team captain for the team was that Praveen was, like I said, very vivacious. We love the fact that despite all the situation that we were going through, he had a bit of sense of humor going, and that was kind of important. Brandon was another amazing team member. Like, the beauty is the fact that we all came together for the first time, and our mission for this, the purpose of this race was to make sure that the communication is right between team members. So we didn't let anybody feel like they're not important or they don't add value to the team. We knew like if one of the member came out, like it was the end of all of us. So there were a lot of sentiments, there were a lot of emotions. Praveen also happened to be the one who would like take one step ahead and help the other team members with extra weight or things like that. They were very minuscule things, but that made a huge impact. And I'm so grateful that Brandon too, like he was very good with different disciplines, and he would keep motivating us when times were low that, you have to keep pushing because we have a time limit. So yeah, I think,
and I think, what Brandon, especially, I think with him, I've noticed that he's just a happy person. He never lets the negative emotions, thoughts ever come to him. And it kind of shows in his expressions as well. Like when you look at your team members, imagine somebody who's not happy and is expressing negative emotions. With Brandon, no matter how much he was going through, he kept a happy, smiling face, and I really enjoyed that about Brandon. Never let any of us feel like he was down or ill or sick or in pain. He just kept a positive attitude.
And kudos to him to keep up with us. Like we would also talk our language at some points, and without understanding, I know how hard that must have been. So he was very supportive. Like
all the curse words in Hindi. Oh my God. He might have jotted some of them down to later figure out what they're saying, but super patient. Yeah. Superbly patient.
Now that the race is over, what would you change in terms of preparation, in terms of decisions that you made during the race?
A lot will change in terms of preparation. Initially we just went with I literally, we did not do much for Eco Challenge. We went last minute. We received our bikes 2 weeks before the race. So we're not going to really, we only can go forward from there and higher from there. So in terms of, training for various disciplines, we'll make sure that we get them under our belt before we go to the next Eco Challenge. We should feel confident in every discipline. And like the last Eco participation was about survival, this time we are hoping that it will be about thriving the course without having to really feel brutalized with the experience. So training wise, our nutrition will change a lot, right? We've realized that we are always underweight. The two of us are, barely 56 kilos. So the one thing that we need to do immediately is to gain extra pounds, extra fat, and inculcate some of those nutritional aspects into our training and diet. But that is also important.
But even small things, like we realized that Eco Challenge, there were things that we didn't go prepared for. Like it could be even a band-aid, for example, like little things, like a water bottle. Like we didn't have sippers, we just had like water bottle, and that would consume time. So in terms of understanding what we need to do to minimize those, limits and to maximize our effort, we know a lot of creative ways to now do that. Like how can we minimize that time, or be more efficient in the way we organize things and be prepared mentally, because now we know what to expect. Like we know how to prepare our gears, we know what to take, what not to take. Initially we had no idea, so we were just like putting everything like mountaineers do, like carry everything you can to survive the wilderness. But this time we know like it's going to be very specific to like every discipline, and just go with that mind. Like you need to be very careful about how much time do you spend on activities that you're doing apart from just racing, because it's a expedition with a stopwatch. So you have to make sure that you have the little things accessible in terms of the gears that you're wearing, the backpacks that you have. So a lot will change. A lot will change, definitely.
Gears, preparation, all of it. Yeah, gear certainly needs a revamp.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you planning to apply for the next?
I'm sure a lot of people are eagerly waiting for that. So honestly, Arancha, like I said, we were actually home since March, and feeling a little bummed about not being able to go outside and do anything. We were kind of disappointed. Like we felt like we won't be able to compete again because we may not have it. But then when we heard it's in Patagonia, we are like, oh my God, Patagonia is a dream. Like, no matter how experienced or not experienced you are, Patagonia is like so beautiful. Like, how can you say no to Patagonia? Like,
have you been before in Patagonia or not?
We have been partly to Chile, and then we submitted quite a few peaks there, but we've never really got a chance to explore Patagonia. And the best part about Eco Challenge is that it's going to take you through some of the most intense landscapes and oceanscapes and riverscapes in the whole wide world. So we're excited about that part. So to answer you, yes, watch out. The twins will be back.
Yeah, that's
oh my God, she's so excited. She almost dropped your phone. Yeah, dropped my phone almost.
Don't worry, you are still on. What has been the impact after you returned to India? How was the government or the press give you visibility in order to inspire other new athletes to really participate or to know a little bit more about adventure races? Because apparently there is no an adventure racing federation, right? In India, there is.
Yeah, not that we are aware of, the two of us. When we came back from Eco Challenge, immediately, that we were not allowed to disclose anything. So there was, it was a very quiet, homecoming. But our friends and family nonetheless were ecstatic with joy, and they were quite excited to see us alive back in one piece at home. And eventually, when the premiere started, the trailers, when the first trailer was out, people were in shock. I mean, people were like, is this even real? Is this even humanly possible? Yeah. And so there was a lot of interest, and India is a sea of humanity with so many people tuning in. So I'm sure like a lot of people have been watching this show, and it has been an uplifting experience for a lot of us. There is nonetheless less visibility for any of these adventure sports and adventure racing, disciplines and activities. So we hope that with the first Eco Challenge premiere of this magnitude, of this kind, people are really intrigued, and they are curious about the sport, and they learn more and want to do something like that. And in India, it will be a huge thing if people, the governments lobby, we lobby with the governments, the private sector, to bring about that change even in our policies. Because so far there isn't much for the adventure community here. But things are changing, with a sport in the enthusiasm level of our citizens. It might be a likely situation in the future. There have been a few media, houses, print, digital who have been carrying out our stories.
Yeah.
And I think they see that inspirational value again for so many girls. And also because did you notice how many team captains were women in
No.
Eco Challenge? There were so many women captains.
Okay.
So many women captains. And I think that should really be an interesting thing
Absolutely.
for people to watch
But I
out.
think, yeah, even after the race, I would say we're getting so many messages of like, people who have been going through a lot in their lives, and, they're just motivated and sort of encouraged to break that barrier within themselves. And I think it's not just in India, but around the world. I think we've just been very fortunate to be able to share that story with so many out there. And I know, like, I have no doubt, like, from India too, like, there'll be many aspiring athletes who want to take up a challenge like this now,
Yeah,
because
for
now
sure.
they know what it is,
Yeah.
For the longest time, we didn't have that exposure. Like, we didn't have any TV show which exposed us to, like, an adventure race before. And with, like, the world's toughest race coming back, it's almost like it came with the bang, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so I feel like people will definitely get more encouraged, and that's what we plan to change even in India. And looking at the current status with the pandemic, people are getting motivated to think about it and like apply and then undertake this. So it's definitely going to take on.
Yeah, of course. Maybe there. I hope that so many teams. There are more teams from India that are accepted to participate. And what would be your preparation if you're accepted in Patagonia? What would be your preparation? Will you participate in adventure races?
I just hope we get that.
Well,
That's always going to be a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
But I must tell you, I must admit that when we were going through Eco Challenge in Fiji, our dad did tell us that our purpose for this one is going to be star. And that is basically, we're going to be like, we survived the first race. So second is obviously going to thrive it. And then the third time we're going to arrive. So who knows, right? Like we would love to explore opportunities to do, like other adventure racing competitions, if it helps at any way, because you also have to preserve your energy for the next big challenge and expedition. So I hope we are able to do that even with the current travel restrictions internationally. There are very few places that we can go and explore, so in terms of preparation, like, we have been maintaining a basic level of fitness now ever since we've come back from Eco Challenge.
One good takeaway.
We have been working out at home, so that if an opportunity again was to come, we can jump on it.
Yeah.
But we are definitely focusing more on our water disciplines and obviously navigation. So that's our key thing. But apart from that, I think because it's Patagonia, we're pretty confident in few of the disciplines that are already there, like glacier travel and ropes, and so we're not really worried, though we have to again go back to like practicing all that again. But our main focus is water thing, like water sports and kayaking. We've never done before, and I think that's something that we have to overcome. So let's see. I mean, we're going to speak to dad. We're going to try to get help from here and there to be able to train out, because I know it's Corona, the pandemic, and you don't want to risk anybody's life out there. But at the same time, be cautious that you need to prepare, you need to train.
Yeah, we cannot underestimate Eco Challenge. It is the world's toughest race, and it's there for a reason. The title, definitely.
Will you be your father, the crew assistant? What is his role? What was so important, his role? Tell us.
Dad's role.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a good mentor. He's one person who's obviously very senior in age, and with his military career also, he is quite aware of some of these life skills and even the dynamics within a team. So when all four of us, for instance, used to reach a camp, his main role was to give us a pep talk and brainstorm and keep us all together. And he definitely helped sober temper down. And he gave us like some really important, I would say, things to remember before further embarking on this journey that really stood out for each one of us. I mean, more than feeling proud and confident about our team, it was also Dad's role as a dad that greatly influenced our team dynamics and also our ability to kind of draw inspiration from some of the life lessons that he is fully versed with. So he was a great mentor, and he's been without him we wouldn't have definitely done Eco Challenge, because we were really down in spirit, but he was there to kind of keep motivating us and pushing us on. And he used to show us that kukri that he took with him to Eco Challenge, and he said, girls, he would point to the woods. He's like, girls, quitting is not an option. So I was like, all right, okay. He's the man.
Yeah.
But it was very crucial. His role was very crucial, and I know it's difficult to be a father at the same time, like be
Yeah.
vulnerable to opening up about the race and the emotions that came through. So yeah, overall, I think he did a great, fantastic job in being
He's
the
a
dad.
friendly virus, Arancha, and everybody
Yes.
feels him. We should be back.
Yeah.
Patagonia, and I would love to see him again. Yeah, he was a really nice guy, really nice.
Thank you.
And before we still have 10 minutes, what are, a part of the Eco Challenge, what are your other dreams, your other challenges that you have in your life?
Dancing. Okay, we love to dance, okay? Not saying that we don't love to dance.
Bollywood dancers.
Bollywood dancers, yeah, we
No.
full on. No, no, Arancha, right now, like everything is on a standby.
Yeah.
The two of us, we have a school out here, the Outdoor Leadership School, and our whole idea is to inspire more kids to get into the outdoors and kind of take away those real important lessons that are also life skills.
Yeah.
And just like develop that curiosity about the environment around us, because it's a very healthy living and connection to our Mother Earth.
Yeah.
And we definitely want more women participation, and we want to keep seeing them, come out and climb their mountains. So we're trying very hard to encourage the whole outdoor community in India. Although, because like I said, the pandemic, we are kind of not just developing programs without them being implemented right away, because we have to like wait out and see what the scenario is like. But nonetheless, we are like right now coaching some of the people, online, and we are, providing assistance to a few people who are also now venturing into the field of adventure racing or mountaineering. So we keep doing those, extra coaching, and with our foundation too, we kind of, because it's even a tough time for them, with the villagers, we're also helping them with some community projects. We take out some time to be with them and address their issues. So it's kind of fun to like kind of mix our interest from just climbing for personal thrill and also to kind of give back to the community. So we do our bit about spreading that awareness and help the people around us. So,
But yeah, I mean, it's always hard, looking at the challenges, and as a country, I think we've especially financially, right? Like right now, we are all going through this phase, and Nungshi and I don't have a 9 to 5 job, which people don't realize. We don't really don't have a job, so we are on a 24-hour job. We wait on the opportunities that come, and literally, we believe in living each day as it comes, because that's what makes us happy, and we're happy doing what we are. So it's not like somebody is forcing us to be adventurous. That's something in our DNA now. So yeah, we really love doing what we are, and at the same time, as much as we can help people with our own experience, that's what we end up doing. But yeah, we are overcoming these invisible mountains together. So.
No, and I would say that you are the first women, so globally women from India that are really empower the women's community and also the kids community in India.
Well, yeah, I guess, and thanks to Dad for supporting us, because we feel like even though our message has been about girl empowerment and that equal opportunity, we also reckon that men also play important part in our lives. And honestly, if it hadn't been for Dad supporting us, we wouldn't have been here today. So it really is a community of one another, supporting one another, and making dreams come true. Because at the end of the day, but we are so thrilled to be able to do that for other women. We are grateful for that opportunity.
Absolutely.
to let them know they're not alone.
Sorry?
Yeah.
To let them know that they're not alone, that we all are there for each other.
You are a truly inspiration. At the end, you are a real case, very young. You still have, so many years in front of you to really demonstrate more and more challenges. And
Arancha, we're aging. We're already retiring. What are you saying?
oh, come on.
Physically, we are just like, but yeah, we have that energy which is keeping us alive. So
Yeah. And do you think the government will maybe have an opportunity with you to really reinforce in schools or in the sports activities at the schools? Is something that maybe you can, go deeper on that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know at this point what's fair to say and not, because like I said, the priorities have changed. For the world, for our governments, for our people, the priorities have changed completely. What was expected and what was something that we were quite certain of has completely changed. The norm has changed. So we don't know like how much longer will we have to endure and sustain ourselves before the governments come in or the corporate houses come in. Because the truth is, India is still not an outdoor nation as such, and there's a long way to go before we can spur the enthusiasm in other people around us. So we're hoping that with such milestones created by people around the world, there will be a change in the thought process and there will be change in the governance. But it's too early to say when will their support come for such activities. It's
but I would say
we're
like
hopeful.
I mean, looking at some of the projects that the government have started is like the Fit India movement. I don't know if you're aware, but that's something that was started. And I'm glad at least people are taking fitness seriously, and maybe that will eventually come into adventure racing and, at least promote sports that sort of need that attention right now because it's the need of the hour, I would say. And so, yeah, I think one thing leads to the other, and with such movements around, fitness and such campaigns, at least, people will start thinking about it, at least, so.
Yeah, that's
How's it in South America? You all are such enthusiastic adventurers lot. We see every weekend there's somebody or the other on their bikes. They're outdoors, and it's such a treat to watch all of them.
I have a very original story. I am half Spanish, half from South America. So yeah.
Hola.
I lived many years in South America. That's why I'm very linked to those countries, especially with Uruguay and Paraguay. And the fact is that the Adventure Races World Series, which is the global competition around adventure races, they launched last year the regional series, one for South America, one for Oceania, one for Africa, and one for... So that's why a friend of mine who is leading South America, he asked me to help him and be part of the team in terms of marketing, on trying to bring visibility. And that's why we are trying to really engage the adventure races community. And we have two main objectives. The first one is to really empower the women and increase the women's participation in adventure races. Because it's a very challenging sport, because at the end, it means a lot of efforts, many disciplines, and not so easy as any other sport. However, what I have to say is that this sport is the most equality sport in that exists. Women compete with the same conditions and are together in the starting line. So that's something unique that we really power. So one of the objectives is that, and to really increase the young generation and inspire the young generation. Races started or has been inspired by the Eco Challenge at that moment 20 years ago. Then didn't have more visibility into and promotion, and that's why decreased a little bit the participation. And I think right now what Mark Burnett and Lisa is doing, and the great agreement done with Amazon Prime and all the exposure we are having right now, I'm sure that will really reinforce the people to really start engaging again with this amazing sport that honestly is beautiful, because it is connected with the naturality and environment and with the communities, which is something fantastic. And secondly, because it's and I love to say, and I'm very proud to say, that it's a very equality sport, and that's something that we really need to reinforce.
Yay! Go Rancha, go. We are with you on this one. No, you bring out a very valid point. I agree with you 100% that it's a very gender neutral sport. Adventure racing is for everyone across all ages, all gender, all sexuality, and it's quite evident with even Eco Challenge. When my grandmother, who's 78, when she saw the team with all 64 plus members, she's like, they're old. And I was like, precisely the point. They're old and they're competing. So that's the special part. It's that it's across, all nations and cultures, and that's
Yeah.
the best thing that I find about adventure racing. It has no boundaries, and
Yeah.
it's meant for everyone.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And with minimum damage.
Okay, cool. Well, we're almost done, so I just
Wow.
yeah, very fast this hour.
I must say, Aranchla, you're the sweetest host we've ever had.
Ah.
Someone who's so happy-go-lucky,
Yeah.
and you made us smile a lot. You revoked some of the emotions from eco, and
Yeah,
we're
and
so happy we got to do this with you.
And we would like to thank even the viewers who sort of joined us for the live. I know they've been commenting so much, and it's kind of like I'm like reading comments, yet I want to express that, but at the same time, I'm staying content with the, what we want to share out there. So thank you all for joining us, and it's been such a great time to be able to share that with you all.
Yeah, it's been so special.
Yeah.
Really appreciated you and your time, your efforts, sharing your story. I think that also one of the outcomes from this kind of events like Eco Challenge,
Mm-hmm.
and how enrich your social life with many new friends, and that keeps forever. So that's something that I really like from this kind of event.
Yes.
Yeah.
We heart adventure racing. Let's just say we heart adventure racing.
And adventure racers.
And adventure racers.
All inspiring humans. Yeah.
But what a wonderful conversation. We were glad that you had us on board today to be able to share.
I
our
wish
journey.
we could share some virtual chai or tea with you, as a celebration from India. That's how we do it. But we will someday. We'll make you some good Indian chai when we meet you next, and maybe even cook you some Indian food.
Oh, love it. Yeah.
Yes. Look forward to that as well. And Arancha, you're such a ball of energy. We're so happy and glad to have met you. And even during the eco race, you're you're just looking at you, and the woman that you are.
Yeah.
We can tell you that we too are absolutely inspired by you as well, and we want to wish you all the best and good luck.
Yes.
And want to join hands with you in whatever you're doing in promoting adventure racing to people out there, and want to salute you for that big effort.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate your words. So let's keep in touch.
Definitely.
Patagonia.
How do you say a ciao in Spanish? Is that just there?
Ciao.
Ciao.
Or adios.
Adios.
Adios. Bye.
Adios.
Buenas
Arancha.
tardes.